All right, we are continuing on with some more of the my hopper stock saws, and right now we're going to be working on this Homelite 770D. We're going to be converting it to this here 090 carburetor. Should make a big difference. Alright, so we'll flip you around and we're going to get on this. I've got like 5 days to get another 3 or 4 saws ready. And boy, oh boy, does time go by quick. Alright, let's get to it. Right, now, I haven't messed with this thing in quite some time, or one of them in a while, so I'm going to fumble through it. And I've got a whiz that I can whiz or zip one a saw very similar to this one over here I can rob parts from. It was free, and now I don't know if I have time, but I'm going to try to do a little bit of port work. I've got a mandrel cut already, I think, so I can shave the base, and man, I think I just cut my arm open on that chain. She's dirty, and that's about the way it's going to stay. This one is not going to be a pretty one. If I can make it the saw fest, I'm going to try to use it as my vintage saw. I may have to make a air filter adapter, kind of a velocity stack, as you will. We might get lucky and well, that'll fit, but you blow that off. Wow. Drop a bunch of trash in that new carb. Anybody seen the blow nozzle? Dadgummit. Where'd it go now? Ah. I need to dig through my drums to see if I can't convert this thing to 3/8 chain too, because as it sits now, it's 404. And I have got no long loops of 404. Oh wow, that don't even... It'll bolt on, but that's about where it stops. Yeah, you can still see the air gap. That's kind of funny. I hate to really go modifying hardcore on that, but I might have to. Now these things is about like trying to work on the old Macs when you get the carburetor off of them. I am going to have to do some changing around, as you see, because I got to move a couple linkages. Maybe change the shaft, I don't know. But that's generally no problem. They tend to work all right either way. I've had limited problems swapping the shafts from the OE carbs to the aftermarket carbs. So how we're going to do this is there's 3 screws, one here, here, and oh, excuse me, down in there. And we're going to take those screws loose, remount the carburetor on a new base, and go at it like that. Mount the carburetor on the piece there. Otherwise, you're not going to get it. I don't think you could get a wrench up in there to do it if you wanted to. It's a pretty tight squeeze. Somewhere I have a nice long screwdriver outside of this. It'll work pretty good. That one was loose. And this is was a very cheap buy. I paid $50 for it. I think it was like $50 including the shipping, so it was cheap. Now I've got one in a gear drive version that I'm in the process of restoring. I've just got to get my parts blasted so I can class beat it or whatever, so I can repaint it. I've got parts of it. I've got the crankcase and the basic motor assembled. It's got new piston and cylinder and everything that I can replace new is new at. So there's that for that one. This one here I'm going to play with and do some port work on. And depending on how long this video gets, we'll probably put the timing wheel on it. This is a reed saw too, so really all we'll have is exhaust timing to deal with. Alright, so I'm going to get that off and bring y'all back. Okay, there's the carburetor off. There's the carburetor still I haven't blowed off. So for now, I'll set that big hunk over there. And oh, do like so. It's amazing, these carburetors, how so similar they are, but how much they change. Huh, that's interesting. I wonder if them are plugs or if they are jets. They're at different heights. Maybe we'll have to check that out. Only thing I'd done to this carburetor was replace the diaphragms in it, and that was it. I didn't even take it off the saw whenever I first got it to check to see if it would run or not. Now, 7/16, I think. Yep. These things are a pain in the butt because you gotta pretty much do them simultaneously, just like on some of the Macs where you gotta do this. But it didn't stick. Oh. Now I believe, whoa. Huh. That is interesting. Somebody put a drip of solder in there to hold the screw in. I guess it's stripped. That is a first for me. I've never seen that. I mean, it's not a bad idea. I mean, if it works, it works. And, you know, fixed is fixed. I guess if you didn't have Loctite, that would work good. Now, we're going to do this, I think. Hopefully it'll be the easy way of doing this. Because I believe I'm going to have to modify that some. Anyway, I really don't need to function anyway. So a little bit, not much. Not much at all. All right. Now we grind, we modify. And I'm only opening this up just enough to where we can get that. Not going crazy with it. Oh, I'm gonna tear something up. Now, I don't expect this thing to be no 660 or nothing, but I do expect it to be fun for a vintage saw to run. So I'm gonna go grind it and come back. All right, so we're working on it, we're getting it. Bring you back. All right, I figured I'd bring you back for to show you my progress. So we've opened the reed block up now, made a custom gasket for the bigger carburetor, and we've modified the carburetor enough to accept the original choke rod, and now we have to modify the original throttle rod. Now, I've had to do this on a lot of carburetors I've built. My 288 has a carburetor I've had to do this to. A couple of my Lombards, that I've put bigger carburetors in. My farm saw has a carburetor I've done this to too. All right, this is how I fix these things up so they'll accept the bigger throttle shaft or throttle blade. As you can see, it's not going in there. Now, this is what I got to do, or what I do. Take this here coping saw blade, and it's like the perfect width to slide in there. You pull the pin out of the blade and you stick the shaft on the blade. You can do it by hand and not put it back in the saw, but it helps if you put it in there like so, and you just go back and forth. You got to kind of get comfortable with it though, because it's a pain in the butt sometimes. My blade's about shot too now. pretty much, I guess what the factory does, they use a slitting blade and just go in it from both sides. And it leaves a peak in there. And most of the time, if you cut all the peak out, cut it down flat to the groove there, you're usually good. And that's kind of how I do that. It's a little fidgety sometimes, but if you get it going, don't stop. All right, we're almost there. And these little shafts, even though they're like chrome plated or nickel plated, they're brass on the inside. So even if the blade's dull, it still cuts. Sometimes it's better for the blade to be a little bit dull, or it's too grabby in that soft metal. It ain't always the prettiest. It, you know, sometimes it looks a little funny. But I guess without a milling machine and the proper like slitting tool, it's not gonna look perfect. Now, this is what makes it a pain in the butt. Now I got to take the blade back off and then just flip the shaft around. And I had to do this to the choke rod too. And it don't really matter. You can put the blade any direction in the saw. It's just a cheap coping saw I bought years ago to do some woodwork. I think I got it from Harbor. I do find pulling down on it like that does help keep your groove from getting as screwy. But you got to watch out when you do stuff like that. I think that was actually the shaft that got me. I mean, the blade's so dull, I don't think it could cut me at all. Not like that. All right, I'll bring you back. All right. Here we go with the pretty much finished product. That's the original shaft from the saw. Believe it or not, it's actually tighter in this aftermarket carburetor. Both shafts are than what they were in the original. So, and they move nice and free. This one here is stiff, but it's meant to be a little stiff, so it'll be okay. Yeah, and that's the. Might have to do something different with this spring though. It don't seem to be happy like that. All right, let's see if we can't wind her back up now. I don't think that's more pressure. Well, the original one didn't even have that return spring on it, so it may not need it. Anyway, so it'd be nice if it'd hook right there and stay, but it won't. Well, well, it seems like that'll have it at the least amount of wraps anyway, so. So we'll stick it right there. See if I can't manipulate it a little bit to make it. It hooks there, but I know it's going to come off. We're going to try to put it in there. There. Sometimes this is less of a science and more of just trial and error. Oop. Like pulling the spring completely out of the hole. All right. Ow. See, I just don't like being crimped like that. All right. So that's what we're doing there, and I think that hole's not used, so I think it's just these down here. All right. I'm going to put that back on and bring you back. All right. Here we go. Time to put it back in the saw. All right. So it's back in there. Took me a minute to remember how that went. All right, so the next thing is to I guess figure out what I'm going to do about that. Whether I'm going to try to use something like that or not, because it's obviously not going to do a lot of good. For performance reasons, it's going to hinder it. And I think they're all kind of small like that, and I've got a couple of them. What to do, huh? I mean, I think the filter could flow it. Just getting it to the filter. Oh, hold on. Let me dig for a minute.